Now, that's a bunch of words, okay? It might be confusing. Now, let's go through it sentence by sentence, piece by piece, so I can explain what it means in layman's terms. In today's video, I'm going to go through and explain one of the most important conditions that we use and most commonly used conditions in real estate transactions that we include for the protection of the buyer, the financing condition, what it is, what it means, and more. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box. Also, feel free to get in touch with any questions you may have. Subscribe, comment, and like this video. It would be much appreciated if you happen to enjoy my videos. If not, feel free to not to do that. You're never obliged to do so. Anyways, let's get to the point of today's video, which is a series that I want to start where I go through the most commonly used and important conditions / clauses that we include for the protections of the seller, protections of the buyer, sometimes with the protection of both in real estate transactions when we're buying and selling property. Today's condition / clause is perhaps the most commonly used, which is the financing condition. Now, what is the financing condition? What does it really say when it's used, and other things you should know about it? Before I get to all that, obviously, I'm not a real estate lawyer, although I know a fair amount about real estate law, as I should. As a real estate agent, I should know what I'm talking about, but my advice is not legal advice. I am not a practicing real estate lawyer. Anyways, let's get to this condition / clause, which is the financing condition. First, I will go through the clause / condition as I usually put it in my offers when I'm negotiating for buyers. And it's worded a couple of different ways, but this is the wording I use. Then I will go back sentence by sentence and explain what it exactly means. This offer is conditional upon the buyer arranging at the buyer's own expense a new charge / mortgage satisfactory to the buyer in the buyer's sole and absolute discretion, unless the buyer gives notice in writing delivered to the seller personally or in accordance with any other provisions for the delivery of notice in this agreement of purchase and sale, or any scheduled thereto no later than 5 business days upon the acceptance of this offer that this condition is fulfilled. This offer shall be null and void, and the deposit shall be returned to the buyer in full without any deduction. This condition is included for the benefit of the buyer and may be waived at the buyer's sole option by notice in writing to the seller as aforesaid within the time period stated herein. Now, that's a bunch of words, okay? It might be confusing. Now, let's go through it sentence by sentence, piece by piece, so I can explain what it means in layman's terms. This offer is conditional upon the buyer arranging at the buyer's own expense a new charge / mortgage satisfactory to the buyer. So what does this mean? Basically, here you have provided an offer for a property. You see a property, you like it, you're like, you know what, I want to put an offer on this property. However, you're not sure on your financing. So the first sentence states that, you know what, this offer is not firm. My offer is merely conditional upon me being able to find the right financing for it in terms of getting approved for mortgage satisfactory and required for me to be able to buy this property. So off the bat here, I hope you know that this condition is not usually included when you buy a property all cash. And other times it's not included when you're very, very confident in your financing and you want to make your offer stronger without including this. However, in colder markets, more buyer-friendly markets, you're going to see this condition more and more. And in seller-friendly markets, more hotter markets on the selling side, you're going to see this condition less and less. And we'll get to why in a bit. Unless the buyer gives notice in writing delivered to the seller personally or in accordance with any other provision for the delivery of notice in this agreement of purchase and sale or any schedule thereto no later than 5 business days upon the acceptance of this offer that this condition is fulfilled, this offer shall be null and void. So that's where we have established that this offer is conditional upon me being able to actually get the mortgage together. Now we're saying if I do not, within 5 business days, where we stated 5 business days, if I do not tell the seller in the matter we agreed to, whether it's a written document directly to the seller or the seller's representative, so how we agreed we're going to communicate with regards to documents so far in this contract, if I do not waive this within 5 business days, then there is no offer whatsoever. So the deal is no longer conditional because there's no deal at all. I have said, hey, it's conditional upon me checking and doing my due diligence to see if I can actually get approved for a mortgage for this property. Now I have seen it. Within 5 business days, if I don't get back to you and waive this condition, it's null and void. There is no deal falls through. The deposit shall be returned to the buyer in full without deduction. Now this means that the deposit I submitted when you accepted the offer and you accepted this conditional offer shall be returned to me, because most times in actuality, in practice, the deposit is submitted a day to 2 days after the acceptance of the agreement of purchase and sale, which is this contract. And this is a 5 business days clause. So you're gonna have certain occasions where you've already submitted the deposit, yet you're not sure on the financing. So far we have established it's conditional upon me being able to actually get approved for a mortgage. If I don't get back to you in 5 business days, there is no deal. And now we're saying, and the deposit shall be returned to me without any deductions. If I submitted a $50,000 deposit, now you have to return that to me according to this clause. This condition is included for the benefit of the buyer and may be waived at the buyer's sole option by notice in writing to the seller as aforesaid within the time period stated herein. So as aforesaid within the time period stated herein, which is the 5 business days, and it's included solely for the protection of the buyer. And this is what I meant, that sellers do not like this clause because obviously it provides protection for the buyer. If you do submit an offer on the property and you don't have this condition and your financing falls through, you can be pretty much screwed because you might lose your deposit. They can keep your deposit. Yes, you may be able to go sign a mutual release, or if they don't agree upon a mutual release, both sides amicably, you may go to court, but you don't have good legal standing. So that's why when the market is very hot, as we're seeing with freeholds right now, you do not see this condition because buyers are competing against one another. And one way to make your offer stronger and stand out as opposed to other offers on the table for that very property is by not having this condition. So you can touch the price in other terms, but this is one of the terms you can touch and waive and not have it at all when you're offering on a property to make your offer stronger. Similarly, in a very cold market right now we have with condos, you can include this and the sellers don't really have much leverage to ask you to waive it. Although right now, at the time I'm recording of this video, the condo market is heating up a bit and offers are becoming more and more firm. So firm means no conditions or clauses that might make the deal fall through in the eyes of the seller. Anyways, I hope that was an adequate and informative explanation of what this condition/clause is. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments or get in touch. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, and stay safe. Thank you very much.